Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. Okay, it's draft week, baby. Let's get to it. Bears on the clock tonight and more on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast with my man, Grogu here.
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where they think they know everything, but honestly, they don't know shit.
Watch these summer league games and they tell you about these new up and coming coaches.
I think we should get rid of every motherfucking owner in Chicago.
Enzo and Caruso, both when they are on the court, are like your defensive generals.
But they need to get that strong safety who's not scared to hit somebody.
They really don't know shit.
Welcome to the Chicago Clubhouse podcast, where we think we know everything, but we really don't know shit. Today, we will be talking about draft week, a couple prospects that we think that the Chicago Bears should get, and hopefully hoping that they will get. Or will they do what Ryan Poles has been doing? Well, what he did last year was, which was trade back, acquire more picks. We'll see. That's what's going to be coming up on the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. We're going to have a short podcast today because we will be having a live podcast during the draft on Thursday when everything is shaking down. So we're going to be here from the first pick to, I don't know, maybe to when the Bears pick. And God knows with Ryan Poles and what he got going on, if that's going to be, it could be the 9th pick or it can end up being the very last pick in the draft. So we're going to find out. But please join us Thursday. We will be having a live episode on the draft, about the draft. Okay. So now, without further ado, I'm your man, Foul Mouth C. Got my homie here, Grogu. I'm going to bring on the rest of the dream team. Ain't that right? He likes when I play with his ears. First up, my man that knows all the stats from the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s. My man, JB.
What up? What up? What up?
What's going on, brother?
Not much, man. Just, trying to live a dream, man. Trying to live it.
Yeah, you ready to talk some of this Bears stuff?
You know what? I am, but to be honest with you, just looking at some of, the people talking around, not just the league, but just in different groups and stuff, man, people are all over the place, man. And that's a little bit telling for me because now we have a GM that we really don't know what he's going to do. Whereas previous GMs, we kind of had an idea what they were going to do. Like if we didn't know the player, we pretty much could narrow down the position. Mm-hmm. Right now, we don't even have that, which, it can be favorable, but at the same time, I'm just kind of like, dang, man, like I don't want like one of those, like, oh my God, during the headlight moments, like he drafted who, but.
Oh, so you talking about like having like what was the boy name? Floyd? That was it, Leonard Floyd?
Like we knew we were looking for the position, but we didn't think it was him. We knew we were looking for quarterback. We didn't think Mitch Trubisky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand you with that. I totally feel that. I'm hoping that he doesn't have one of those moments. Like you said, it's a lot of chatter going on talking about as far as who the Bears are going to get. I've heard from, what's the kid, Darnell Wright to Ransky to Paris Johnson. I haven't really heard too much about the guy from Georgia, Broderick Jones, that offensive lineman. But I have heard plenty about the other guy from Georgia, Jalen Carter. You know, people talking about if he's not there at 9, the Bears are going to trade back, or if he's there at 9, the Bears, that's who the Bears are going to select. So right now, you're going to hear a bunch of rumors, especially when we got, 2 days into the draft?
2 days. And
Yeah,
they are, they are chomping at the bit to try to get, just some type of clarity, or not even clarity, just some type of direction on where Ryan Poles is going on. I heard some more talk about trade back and just getting the best player available at any position, which is also very telling, because it's like, dang, who do you really have your eye on?
Yeah, definitely. So, hey, while we at it, let's go on here and bring in the other member of the Dream Team, the man called the Tank, but he's also known as Frank. Frank the Tank.
What up, what up, what up?
What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Honoring this Chicago Clubhouse with a Chicago distilled whiskey. Had no idea there was a Chicago distilled whiskey. Sorry, foul mouth.
Yeah, I fucking wouldn't know at all.
Some good shit, but how you guys been?
Oh, we've been good. Just wondering what's going to go on come Thursday. And like I tell everybody before, we will be having a draft episode going live.
Draft preview party.
Huh?
It's going to be fun, man. Got some good guests coming on, too.
Yeah, that's what this is right now, draft preview party right now. So we're going to be talking about who we think are the top 3 picks that the Bears should get, who people are talking about that they will get, and also if the Bears are going to trade back, which, I mean, we don't know what Ryan Poles' board looks like, so we don't know. He may just trade back. We also got another guest that's coming on. You can catch this guy on Thursdays, but he's going to be joining us this Thursday for this draft special.
Yeah.
My man, who does it? His name is Easy.
So am I joining y'all, or are y'all joining me?
I
think it's a crossover. I think it was right in the sweet spot.
Right in the sweet spot.
Or if there's a way we can
gray area.
It'll be aired on both. We could just say it like that.
Oh yeah, you know it. Well, it's all the same channel. It's
I'm about to say it's the same channel.
All that matters.
It don't matter. Chicago channel. Chicago Clubhouse.
You know it.
So.
You know it.
Yeah. So
what's up, guys? Glad to be here.
Hey, we're glad that you're here. So since you are the last person on to the Clubhouse, Easy, what do you think? Who do you think are the top 3 guys that the Chicago Bears should select?
Well, I'm still on the we need defensive line bandwagon. I guess it's not really a bandwagon; it's not very crowded. But I guess I gotta say, hi, Mom. I guess I gotta say, I really like Myles Murphy. Well, number 1, Jalen Carter. I know we have our reservations about him, but talent-wise, he's very tough to like. There's so much potential there that if he's available at 9, you can't pass that up.
That's the thing with Jalen Carter. He has a high ceiling, probably the highest ceiling, but he also has, I think, the strongest possibility of being a tank too.
Yes,
definitely. Not Frank the Tank. I mean, a fucking tank.
Right.
That is just buried.
He is the definition of the highest ceiling, lowest floor. Right.
Yes.
Like he could be Warren Sapp, or he could be, Didn't we get a defensive, or like I guess Hainsworth, right? Like he's kind of the comp for kind of those bust defensive, ultra talented defensive tackles who just don't make it. So I guess Jalen Carter number 1. I like Myles Murphy. I like Tyree Wilson, but the word is he's not going to fall that far. And then I'll go 3rd, Paris Johnson. I think it makes a lot of sense. Sturdy pick. Can't go wrong with that. That seems more like a low, like not the highest ceiling, but not a low floor. Like you're going to get a solid guy.
So who's your number 1 now?
My number 1 is Carter.
Number 1 is Jalen Carter. Okay.
Yes.
And your number 2 is Myles Murphy?
Yes.
Okay. And your number 3 is Paris
unless
Johnson.
we're including the idea of making a trade.
Okay.
In which case, I'd like to trade back, try to get even more players, more rookies, more competition.
How far are
And
you
then,
willing to trade back?
I'm willing to trade back. I mean, really, however far, because it's one of those things where this draft is very depth based. Like there's not a lot of elite talent. It's a lot of those guys with pretty high floors but not the highest ceilings. I know I'm using that analogy a lot, but if the shoe fits. But I'm just saying, like, trade back a little bit. I like DeJuan Jones a lot. He's 6'8", 350 or something, and I know like there's some reservations about how good he's going to be, but like that's one of those where I feel like I'm not really out thinking the room. It's one of those where it's like, all right, he's that big. Like we should be able to get a lot out of a guy who's built like an absolute tank. So I'd understand trading back. However, I also understand working with what you got. I mean, if Jalen Carter is available at 9, I don't think they should trade back. And so I guess really they could go a whole number of different ways. I would not be upset. The only thing that would upset me is if they got a quarterback in the first round, which they won't do. So
That shit ain't happening.
Surprise! We're moving back up to 1.
Right, exactly.
We're gonna trade more to move back up to 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so I definitely get it. So, like I said, when you're talking about us trading back or whatnot, what type of compensation are you talking about getting? What is it that you're looking for?
That's what you got to be impressed. That's
usually one extra pick or 1 or 2 extra picks, just depends, But what did we? I know you already brought up Leonard Floyd. What did we give up to get Leonard Floyd? We moved up from I think 11 to 9 to draft him.
We moved
we
up, but I don't remember exactly.
We gave up 2 picks.
We gave up 2 picks.
It was a 3rd rounder and I think a 6th rounder or something like that.
Look, we're in the same spot as the Giants were then, right? Like, we're at number 9. So I think 2 picks, like getting 2 extra picks from a team would make a lot of sense if we're going to trade from that.
Well, it depends on where that team is drafting at. Because if you're talking about dropping back from 9 to what? Who they talking about? Like the Steelers, what they're at number 17 or something like that?
The Steelers is a stretch. It's still looking like Tennessee for the 13th is like the most logical pick. But again, a lot of I'll wait for your turn to finish easy because there's a lot of dominoes that got to fall to get.
Look, remember, we traded up from 11. We traded 2 spots and gave up 2 picks.
Yeah, we were also a dumbass organization too. Let's not forget that.
Okay.
I wouldn't say poverty franchise, but definitely a dumbass franchise.
Well, remember what we did to get Mitch Trubisky? We gave up all those picks to move up 1 spot.
Yeah, no, I forgot all about that. I forgot all about it.
Like he wasn't going to fall.
Okay. All right. So, Frank, what do you think?
All right, I'm gonna.
Who are your top 3?
I'm partially on the boat with what Easy was saying, but if we're gonna list the top, if I'm staying pat at 9, I'm praying to God Jalen Carter leaves before 9 because I'm sorry, I don't want him. It's just too much of a gamble. It really is too much of a gamble for a second-year GM. Where if he takes him and he becomes Cheeseburger Eddie in a bad way, where he just nonstop eats cheeseburgers, that's going to cost him. That's going to hurt him, and it's going to hurt him bad.
Okay, just to be clear, sorry, I looked it up, the Leonard Floyd trade. It wasn't – the only thing that was bad about it was Leonard Floyd didn't live up to expectations, but it wasn't like the worst thing for us in that we got the 11th pick and we got a 4th – or we got the 11th pick and we had to give up a 4th-round pick to get him.
It's just I thought we had another pick next year too. We didn't?
And this was with Tampa Bay. I don't know why I thought it was with New York, but yeah, no, that's what it was.
All right.
The Giants was the Fields trade. Okay.
So if we stay pat at 9, I agree with Easy, and I know he's always been on board with me on this too. I love Myles Murphy. I've loved Myles Murphy since day one. I've never given up on him. The only reason he just kept getting pushed back into the draft is because in the combine, more offensive players just stood out. Myles Murphy is not a flashy guy. He is, I am going to destroy anybody. He's like a Bobby Boucher. Whoever has the ball, he's going to go get him. Yes, he had 12 sacks last year, but he also had 29 quarterback pressures or something like that. He's a game record.
That's what matters.
Myles Murphy?
That's what matters. Quarterback pressures.
Myles Murphy. And what?
I don't realize QB pressures are often
it's huge because it throws quarterbacks off their game. Like when something like that happens, and they always had and the thing was, and I know we always talked about Jalen Carter and Will Anderson during top elite teams. Myles Murphy did almost the exact same stats for his good teams than he did against bad teams. So I was always on the Myles Murphy train, and I still am. But Myles Murphy would be my third. All right. And then I'm going to probably go Broderick Jones, my number 2, if he's available. Zero sacks allowed his last 2 years, very few quarterback pressures. He's got great size. He's got great footwork. Some people were saying they feel like his intangibles might be a little bit rough for the NFL level, but I mean, that type of stuff I feel like is absolutely coached. He's somebody who can come in and be a tackle for you in day one. And Paris Johnson is still going to be my number 1, though, if he's available. I mean, I don't see a weakness in Paris Johnson. I really don't. All the tapes that I have watched on him, even the mistakes he had, I kind of look at those mistakes as those are just great defensive plays.
And that's going to happen, especially to a rookie.
You're not going to be perfect in this league. Like it's going to
up against Aiden Hutchinson, and he might give up a sack, right? But like
you learn from that type stuff.
Matter of fact, we might want to check and see if there's any game tape on like a Hutchinson going up against Paris Johnson back when.
I might have to look
Michigan
at that.
versus Ohio State, there is.
Yeah, I might have to look at that.
And Jones as well, as long as some other people, Mozzie Smith as well, as some other guys that are of note.
But other things that I am going to look at in this draft is if Jalen Carter slips to 9, somebody's going to want to come up and get him. I would trade back. If Jalen Carter is there at 9 and somebody wants him, more assets for him. Or if a Levis is available at 9. If a quarterback slips to 9, that would be the dream come true scenario, I feel like, for the Chicago Bears. Or any quarterback is still of those top 5 quarterbacks now, right?
So, Frank, let me put this on your plate right now.
Go for it.
Jalen Carter's available. You are the Bears GM, Ryan Poles. There's one team that has already outright said if he's available at 10, they're taking Jalen Carter, which would be the Philadelphia Eagles. Do you try to make that move now?
Really? The Eagles?
I mean, Eagles at 10, I would use that to my advantage, and I would make that phone call on draft day to the Eagles. Be like, listen.
Almost like we drafted him for you.
That on draft day movie right there. It was like, if you want him, make me a freaking deal. Otherwise, I am going to take him. And I would do that in a heartbeat. And it's the same with any quarterback that's in the draft. Like, you want him, you think that, there was somebody who was like 22 in the draft or 21 in the draft that was considering moving up if quarterback slips too.
You know what, Easy, can we pull up the draft order? I don't remember it by heart.
I'll grab it.
17. Because I know some people have multiple picks. I'm going to be honest with you too. Well, I'll wait for my turn because it's a lot going on.
Yeah, I got it. So are you asking about 11?
Give me 11 through 15 real quick.
11 through 15 is Tennessee, Houston from the Deshaun Watson trade.
Which would be 12, right?
Then, yes, 13 Packers from the Jets, New England at 14. And New England rumored to want Will Levis too. And 15, the Jets from the Packers from the Rodgers trade.
They're not going to quarterback. Commanders at 16. I mean, are they sold without a quarterback yet? I don't know if they're sold on their quarterback.
Is it Howell?
Sam Howell is
the fact that we can't even remember his name just shows.
I know his name. Sam Howell.
But you also have the Buccaneers at 19.
I confuse Howell and Coral all the time because they were same, mid-level quarterback prospects. So that's why I asked. But
what about
the Patriots? Maybe the Patriots.
What about the Seattle Seahawks too, though?
The Seahawks.
Seahawks have an early pick, but they're word that they're not going to go at a quarterback.
If we're talking about now, you already had so what were your top 3 again?
My top 3: 1 Paris Johnson, 2 Broderick Jones, 3 Myles Murphy. Those are my top.
I like Broderick, by the way. It's a good
2 offensive linemen, 1 defensive lineman. Okay, so now since you know the order as far as when it comes down to the draft, if we're talking about a trade back, how far are you willing to trade back, and what compensation you want?
Word is, and Easy said it perfectly with Dwan Jones, that he is going to probably be a top 20 pick. I would try to move back where I can still grab him. 6'8", 7'5" wingspan. Like, the only knock on him is they feel like NFL levels don't have a lot of big defensive ends anymore. A lot of them are speed, small, rushing, speed rushers, and that's kind of his weakness. But you put your freaking arm on somebody with a 7'5" freaking wingspan, you're not going far.
I can't even call that a weakness because look at the sacks he did not give up against smaller.
He didn't give up any.
How many is that again, Foul? Cheerio.
Zero.
That's
why if I can still pull him out in this draft and move up and at least get 2 more draft picks, I consider that a win.
How many pressures did he give up?
0. 5 total, yeah. And Paris Johnson did give up 1 sack, but he gave up only 2 quarterback pressures. So Ohio State is prime time offensive tackles. I mean, Jesus.
Okay.
Great offensive system, too.
So that you already talking about moving back. Now, what type of, like I said, depending on how far you're talking about moving back, what type of compensation are you looking for? Like, you already know that you're going to swamp the picks. So what else are you looking for?
I think if Jalen Carter is there at 9, you might be able to pull out a first-round draft pick next year, too. Because somebody thinks he is that high ceiling. But, I mean, I would want at least 2 picks. At least. And that'd probably be at least an early second-round pick and then maybe throw in another 5th.
I really think Carter will be gone by 9, honestly. I
think he will be, too. I really think – and that'll be – in my case, I don't want to draft Jalen Carter because it's just too much of a gamble.
That's fair.
Much – like, and I am going to put all my faith in Poles because nobody knows what he's going to do. Nobody was in that interview room with him when he brought Jalen Carter in there for 3 separate visits to just see where his head is. If he's sold that Jalen Carter, he fucked up. He knows he fucked up, but his power, his energy, his love for the game is there, then hey, go for it. I'm going to trust you until you fail. But it's a huge gamble. But I mean, to answer Anthony's question, how far would we drop? I'd drop to at least 17, 18, and I think Jones would still be there.
Ooh, 17 or 18?
I really think a lot of people there's people out there who don't like his size. I don't fucking get it. They're saying he's too big. What the hell does that mean? He's too big. It's like freaking moron. Thank you, Grogu. I know, dude. Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, minus the height, though, dude. I mean, come on.
Man. I would just move back anywhere where I am confident to say Jones is still going to be there because that's who I would still want. That would be pretty much almost the only person that I would want. Okay. And I'm still going to throw another name on there as an honorable mention, and that's Lucas Van Ness from Iowa. Mm-hmm. Like, the more and more tape, I was not too sold on him. I was too in the middle of him seeing like the next Shea McClellan. That's what I was always worried about. But the more and more tape I watch of him, he's also
JJ Watt.
Yeah, that's a very good example. Like, I was always comparing Miles Murphy to kind of like a JJ Watt, but I actually consider him more like his brother, like a TJ Watt than a JJ Watt. Like, I know anybody's gonna want either one of the Watt brother type. I mean, I like his game, but I don't know. I think I wouldn't be mad if they draft him either, though, because he is still another guy who puts a lot of quarterback pressures, and he's got speed and power, but he doesn't look that big, and that's kind of like reminds me of the Watts.
Okay. What about you, JV?
Well, I want to throw something on to Frank's point, add a little fuel to the fire. I know if our supporters and subscribers out there hate me for this, I'll just take it. I've been the bad guy before.
You're that guy.
I know it. You're beating me to it.
It's 3 things in Chicago that we don't want Jalen Carter to be associated with that we have in abundance here.
Food.
Fast food, fast cars, and fast women. Yeah. That's a recipe for disaster for me.
Yeah.
When that kid's head is not on straight, you know.
Very well said, man.
If fast women
a little more mature, huh?
I feel like fast women could give him the rage to like play at a high level,
or it can give him the testosterone to be that weaker.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess
no
that's true.
testosterone.
I don't know.
You have to
But
call up Big Bird
but my
Frank
thing
Thomas
is,
up on that shit.
when you have a player to where it seems like the attractiveness of being a football player is actually better than being a football player, that to me says he's not focused on football. He's focused on the perks that come along with football. So I'll say I'm still gonna pass on him. I'm sorry, whether it's a trade value thing.
That's why if he's there at 9, I wouldn't mind trading back if somebody would want him.
And let me be very clear. I'm gonna address your point first. I'm going to only trade back if somebody wants a quarterback, because now let's say something quirky happens and the Texans take Will Anderson, knowing that they can grab a quarterback at 12, right? Then that shifts the whole thing. Minnesota's only got 1 year left on their contract. How do we know they don't want to grab a Will Levis or a Hendon Hooker or somebody like that? We don't know. So I look at things like, does Arizona trade back? Because they don't need a quarterback. You can say, yeah, they would be stupid if they don't get Will Anderson.
Yeah, I think that'd be very stupid.
But then you talking about, does a Will Anderson or Jalen Carter fall to Detroit?
That'd be a nightmare scenario right there.
Those are scenarios that I think of when it's like, man, am I trading back to help other people defensively against me? Or am I
still feel like Detroit's taking a corner, though.
Well, because Jeff Okudah is gone,
yes.
I would think they're going to take the kid from Oregon. That's who I think, because they had a lot of success on the defensive line last year. But when Will Anderson is right there in your face, it's a little hard to not grab him. You know what I'm saying? If he falls past 3. But, and that's a shot.
Yeah, that is.
We don't know who was driving that yellow Lamborghini because he wasn't in it. So, but of course, I went above and beyond with my homework foul. Like, I'm always trying to get that 5.0. If we talking tackles, that's my first priority, whether we pick it 9, 13, 11, 12, whatever. I just rank them in order of what I look at. Peter Skoronski, 6'4", 313. Paris Johnson, 6'5", 311. Dewad Jones, 6'8", 374. Then don't forget about the guy that's starting to skyrocket in his pro day, which was Darnell Wright from Tennessee, who actually was on that team with Hendon Hooker when Tennessee was, lighting up the world. 6'5", 333. Can't go wrong with any one of those guys, even if you get an extra value pick later in the first round or even next year. One of those guys, I'm all for it. If you want to go defense, I'm not going Jalen Carter, as you all can guess. I like Kalazi Kancey out of Pitt. He's only 6', 275, but he shows, he's got a little.
He's got that dog in him.
He got a little Ndamukong Suh in him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I like that.
We need that. We need an edge player,
But he's bringing that edge because he's nasty. I like.
Right. I mean, like metaphorical edge, like nasty, exactly.
Yeah, the nasty. I like Siaki Ika out of Baylor, 6'3", 335. You watch Big 12 football, he was a disruptor down there. He gave the quarterback from I can't think of his name right now, from TCU. He gave him a couple of fits in those games down there. I also like Moro Ojomo from I think he was from Texas, 6'5", 292. He's more of like a Tommy Harris type player.
What is that? What Brandon just said?
Yeah. Brandon said Tommy Harris said he liked the 3 tech out of my alma mater, San Diego State. That could have been.
So those guys, and then defensive end, Tyree Wilson, 6'6", 275. Miles Murphy, 6'5", 275. I think he had 7 sacks last year, 76 pressures in his career. And then slightly less, but I think he'll be gone because I think Seattle wants to play a certain way with bringing that Legion of Boom back with those Bobby Wagner type linebackers and everything. I was liking Nolan Smith from Georgia, 6'2", 238. Plays linebacker, but plays wide edge rusher as well. But somebody like that in that cover too could help. But right now, for me, we don't need technically that type of linebacker / edge rusher.
I don't think so.
We need somebody with a little size to him. That's why I really, really like Tyree Wilson and Miles Murphy, because they complement. Don't forget, guys, we just did get T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds, so we're kind of good at linebacker. Like, we're kind of really good at linebacker right now. Without even playing a game.
I want to ask you, or I guess all y'all really, an X's and O's question kind of about what you just said. So, like, these undersized pass rushers that are, traditionally molded for like a 3-4 kind of scheme, right? Where you got two outside linebackers. Would they still theoretically fit in what Eberflus is trying to do, like on 3rd and long? Like, how important is it to get these guys for 3rd and long? Like, even if, they might get bowled over in the run game, I guess, what's the value in a player like that? Is that someone you want to wait till the 3rd round to get? Or, yeah, I guess,
it'd be later rounds for sure.
Let me put it to you like this. If you're running that type of hybrid, you better have a Lawrence Taylor or a Derek Thomas type player going after the quarterback.
And we don't have that guy.
We don't have that guy.
Closest we had was Mac.
So if we don't have that guy in the cover 2, remember, the whole cover 2 is about disruption up front, bending and not breaking, getting turnovers, making that quarterback a second or two ahead. Yeah. When you got somebody that can put their hand in the dirt, got some size, can get off of blocks, a la Miles Murphy, Tyree Wilson, that brings back those edge rushers that we fell in love with, the Alex Browns, the Adewale Ogunlekes, the Richard Dent, like the ones that weren't, everybody ain't Bruce Smith and Reggie White. We know that, right?
Because they all could play the run.
They do play the run, and that's key. They do play the run. Because remember, too, we do have DeMarcus Walker, who is a 6'4", 280-pound DN/D tackle. So if you bump him over to the 3 technique, that gives us some stability and some depth, right?
Yeah. And I still like Justin Jones. He's the only lineman I like that we have right now.
He can slide over to the 1. He can slide over to the 1 technique and he's just a run stopper. Like, he will literally be in the catbird seat because nobody's going to be game planning for him.
Anthony, just to push back on that, like Leonard Floyd, I don't think he was ever like in like a cover 2 type scheme? I'm trying to think of Leonard with us. I feel like he's always been in like a 3-4.
Is the Rams a 3-4?
Yeah,
they're a hybrid. They're a hybrid.
Yeah, they're a hybrid, but they have Aaron Donald, so like they
and that was the thing when they lost Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd was non-existent. Right.
You knew back then from Georgia Fowl. Tell me if you remember this, because I think we were talking about this in Javen Backyard. Do you remember we were talking about how Leonard Floyd had to set an alarm clock to eat because he couldn't hold no weight?
Yeah, he was a bad guy. He couldn't take no weight like that.
So we knew then that he wasn't going to be the prototypical bear edge rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Still wanted him to be like a tight end.
Well, the thing about it, okay, so JB.
Yes.
If you're not picking at 9, how far are you willing to trade back and what compensation are you looking for?
Honestly, because of what the Jets just did, I would call them and get on the phone real quick and be like, hey, how bad do you want one of these edge rushers? Because the only thing I can see them doing is waiting at 13, I believe it is. Easy.
Yeah, 13.
And grabbing Jackson Smith and Jimba.
Yeah.
But if you dangle a Jalen Carter in front of their head or a Tyree Wilson, if one of those guys, no flip, is available to bolster that defense, of which they already had a top 5 defense.
Top 5.
That might be attractive to them because they're in win now mode. They're in sell the house. Next 2 years, we got to win. They might be willing to play ball with
you. Yeah. Okay. They're going for it now, and they made that clear when they got Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Their window is 2 years? Might just be this year. Who knows if Aaron Rodgers is going to resign?
It's got to be 2. It's got to be 2.
Well, Aaron Rodgers only got 1 more year left in his contract, though. That's what I'm saying.
But it's got to because you don't get him to win this year and not win next year. It's the Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But look, it's all about like I said off the air. Like it's really all about how his right arm holds up, and his right arm has been pretty friggin' blessed for a long time. Because as long as he got that, like he could,
I'm gonna give you one better
for anyone, anytime.
When is the last time he's had a defense to this magnitude? When is the last time he's had a running back and receivers to this magnitude?
Yeah, no, for real. I mean, I can't remember last time he had a Quinn. When's the last time he had like a Quinn Williams?
He doesn't
if he takes this team to the postseason and does what he has been doing and just puts up shit numbers, in the postseason game, it's
when I look at it, his wide receiver, his group. We talk about as far as having talent, they do. As far as the production that they're looking for, he's going to have receivers with better production. I mean, even though we all sit up there and say that, Garrett Wilson is a stud or whatnot, true, he has that athletic
No, he's
ability,
awesome. He's
but,
awesome.
he hasn't set up there and proved anything yet. We haven't seen that from him. I think they got Corey Davis or somebody like that over there. Who else did they got at wide?
Elijah Moore, and they picked
Elijah
up
Moore.
Alan Lazard.
Yeah, Lazard too. They can't. Yeah.
I still ain't sold on no damn Allen Lazard.
Remember,
I never was
guy,
sold on. He's an average.
Aaron Rodgers turned James Jones into like the number one receiver, like in the NFL, touchdown wise. He's the guy who got the most out of a 7th round pick in Randall Cobb. Like, he's always gotten a lot of production out of guys that others would consider to be scrubs.
Put it to you like this: look at what Elijah Moore's, Corey Davis, and Garrett Wilson's number were. I'm gonna give you one stat that's gonna stagger your mind. Not a stat, an accolade. Garrett Wilson was the offensive rookie of the year, with Zach Wilson and Mike White throwing him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what he's gonna do. 12 throwing him the ball.
Oh my God, no! Those back shoulders, 50 yards downfield, are gonna be like otherworldly. I'm telling you.
Imagine what he gonna do with 12 throwing him the ball.
The Jets
you know
are.
Who the AFC defensive rookie of the year was? Sauce Gardner. The Jets gonna be a problem, man.
They also got Quinnen Williams up front. They got
But Kai Becton comes back. Like, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, for how long?
Well, Rodgers is used to injured left tackles. All right, like let's let's used to Bakhtiari and whatnot.
Well, I'll talk about my three. My three right now. I wouldn't put Jalen Carter in there. I just think it's too much right now. The Bears can't afford to take a gamble on a guy like him. Now, a team like Philadelphia, yeah, sure, I can see them taking a gamble.
It's not going to hurt them whether he fails or not.
Exactly. A team like even the Detroit Lions, if they were to take a gamble on them, it wouldn't really hurt them because they got a bunch of young guys. People forget.
That's a great
Everybody talk about Aiden Hutchinson, but the other guy on the other side, shit, he had just as about a productive sack season.
They had bookends.
No, he did, and I'm not saying anything against him, but that was because Hutchinson was getting double teamed a lot too.
But they had a good front four.
They did, hands down. They had good linebackers.
I mean, their hands were
that
good.
second half of the season.
I can still see them trying to go for Jalen Carter, taking a gamble on a guy like Jalen Carter, because basically you really don't know what they got on the inside. And it's not bad taking a gamble on him right then and there. It's not going to really hurt him. If anything, it's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's a really good point.
I will have up there. I'm not a fan of, I know a lot of people are a fan of the guy from Northwestern, Soronsky. I'm not a big fan of his. I don't think that you can take, that's another guy I don't think that you can take a gamble on, with his arm length or whatnot. Yes, he's technically sound and everything, but when you got a lot of experts that say that this guy will possibly be best if he's in the inside, then why would you take that gamble when shit looks like the strength of your offensive line is on the inside? So I really wouldn't take him. My three would be probably Paris Johnson, Darnell Wright. I've been hearing a lot more about him.
Tennessee.
He's actually, I think, by being that, my thing is this. You got Braxton Jones over there. It seems like the Bears are pretty content with letting Braxton Jones get another year at left tackle. So that's why I don't think that they're going to go with Paris Johnson in the draft. I think they're going to use their efforts and look for either a defensive guy or they're going to sit up there and look for that right tackle. And that's where Darnell Wright comes in at. Darnell Wright is a guy that grades out outstanding as far as run blocking.
Yep.
He's big. I think he allowed the least number of pressures or sacks at right tackle behind Saransky and
Jones.
the guy that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, Mr. Jones, DeJuan Jones, okay? So I'll put Paris Johnson, I'll put Darnell Wright, and for my third, I'm probably going to look for a defensive guy, so it's probably going to be one of those defensive ends. I think maybe somebody might fall. I don't know if it's either Tyree Wilson or Will Anderson or somebody, because we don't know exactly what's going to happen with that QB situation. There may be a team that's willing to jump up to come get Richardson, or somebody might fall in love with Will Levis. So you may see 4 quarterbacks gone within that first 10, or you may sit up there and see only 2 gone. It could be between 2 to 4. You just don't know. So I'm going to wait to see how that domino falls. But if I had to go with a defensive guy, I would probably go with maybe Miles Murphy, because he is a big defensive guy. And we do need somebody on that edge. Now, as far as when it comes back to trading back, well, that depends on how far we talking about trading back. Now, we talking about like number 17. I need a first round out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Darnell Wright.
And it's Pittsburgh, so absolutely.
Yeah, I need a first round out of you.
That'd be a first rounder and maybe even another 4th or 5th.
And all you're going to give me, what, is a third round?
It's going to be a swap. You're going to get a first rounder because it's a swap. And
he's talking about a first rounder next year.
He's saying including a first.
Next year. Oh, no, I'm not even worried about this year. This year,
Bears walking out with 3 first-round draft picks
next year. But next year, I need that first up out.
You have to.
Absolutely.
Because there's no way I'm dropping from 9 to 17, and you're going to sit up there and give me what? Maybe that 32, what was it, number 32 that we had? I don't want that shit. I mean, you can add that in there, but I don't want it. Don't think that you're going to sit up there.
Take that first and a 32. That'd be a nice little.
You give me a
first. Might be the anger translator for Ryan Poles.
He's right. You legit get the pick that you just traded. You get it right back. Because technically, if it wasn't for what happened with Miami and the Tom Brady tampering situation, that 32nd pick technically is the last pick in the first round.
And let me ask you this, though. Instead of having that first back, would you take, or the following year, would you take both of their second rounders this year? No, you wouldn't do that one to move to 17, and then the 32 and what is it, like the 43?
They were 9-8 with an ailing team, and Mike Tomlin just showed you, hey, I don't lose. I don't go into 500.
No.
So imagine what that pick is going to be.
That
pick is going to be anywhere from probably 16 to the mid-20s.
And if I'm trading back that far, I am going to get that big guy from Ohio State. This is what I don't get. Everybody sit up there talking about, he's 6'8", he's the biggest man I've ever seen and all this and that. But, I'm worried about his foot speed. Guess what?
He has the game to back it up.
How the fuck are you going to move if he got his big-ass bear paws on him? He is a fucking bear.
He's a real bear. He ain't going anywhere. I don't care.
But I want to Famouth, I want to talk about something you said that I liked also, and that is Darnell Wright, because like his profile, on NFL.com, take it as you will, like big body tackle, like really good, like he seems like, a good blend of finesse and physical, but like the main drawbacks on him are that he's more of a catcher than a puncher. Like he's not as aggressive, but like
that's what I've heard too. Yeah.
First of all, that could be taught. That's something he could learn. And secondly, put him next to a guy like Tevin Jenkins, and that's like a really good combination, right? Like you got your thunder and lightning. It's like like offensive line based on everything we've talked about with guys like Big Cat Williams. It's like you want to have and Ruben Brown, right? Like you want to have like a good balance on that offensive line of different kinds of guys who bring different things. And I think that, getting a guy like a Darnell Wright, by the way, 333 pounds, like, he's going to work at some position in the NFL.
6'5".
Like,
yeah.
I think putting him next to a Jenkins, and like putting him on like this foundation of a line that we have.
He's not. The thing about it is he's not going to be next to Jenkins. He's actually going to be next to Nate Davis. But
Nate Davis got that finesse and attitude too, though. So
I don't think that people remember that actually Darnell Wright has played the right tackle. He's also played the left tackle, and he's played one of the guard positions as well. So this is a guy that has some type of diversity as far as when it comes to him being on the line. That's one thing that I do like about him. Do I think number 9 is too high for him? Yes. So now I'm willing to trade back maybe a couple spots pick up a couple more draft picks, and then select him. Boy, if I'm really looking to go back even further, now I'm looking at Jones. Because like I said, one thing about him, that is a mountain of a man. If you sit up here and you worried about him having speed rushes, the guy gave up fucking 0 sacks.
Right, exactly.
0 fucking sacks. So you telling me Georgia ain't got no speed rushes?
All speed
You telling
rushes.
me Michigan ain't got no fucking speed rushes? You telling me Penn State don't have no fucking speed rushes? Or whoever else that they've been sitting up there having or that they have played against don't have speed rushes, and this guy's only giving up 5 fucking pressures and 0 fucking sacks. So I'm not worried about his fucking footwork or him being able to move his fucking feet like that. When you got long monkey ass arms like that, when that goddamn guy tries to get on the edge, you push him with your big ass all the way to the outside where he can't get near your quarterback, where your quarterback can step up in the pocket and deliver the fucking pass. Now, you experts, you can kiss my ass. Give me Jones.
So I like that in you, but I want to challenge you on one thing because they say he's too big. Is it the height or the weight? Because now
they're saying the height. They're saying they don't want that long of arms. And I'm like, why? They're saying long arms have the tendency to hold people too much.
Hold on.
Like
at 6'7", Big Cat Williams for us was a right tackle and was a damn destroyer. Let me go one up. At 6'7", 330, Orlando Pace is a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
So don't give me that just because he's taller and long. Don't give me that.
They're saying this generation of NFL players is different now, and I call bullshit on that.
That's bull.
Absolutely call bullshit.
But then I have to say, well, now I have to play devil's advocate because now
you have to be careful about that. Just saying
that goes with Skoronski because now the experts say because he's got short arms, he should be kicked to the inside. This, then the third. The man has been playing at an NFL scouting caliber level his whole career. He was a top prospect. He didn't go to Northwestern because didn't nobody else want him. He went to Northwestern because that's the school he chose. So I don't want to hear nothing about his short arms being a detriment, just like I don't want to hear nothing about Jones's height being a detriment. That's just some people that get a paycheck from a network to act like the smartest guy in the room when they really don't know shit. And on our podcast, we say that, but it's tongue-in-cheek because we know we've talked to many of NFL players and like, no, y'all guys know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because I remember the greatest GM of all time said Lamar Jackson should be a running back or a wide receiver. And this man was the MVP. Stop playing with
He's probably the same person who's saying the same thing about Justin Fields, though, too. So.
Can the kid play ball? Does the kid have a desire to play ball? Can the kid be taught? Thank you, Akeem. Hey,
I agree, yeah.
Hold on. Akeem Hunter, former running back, Leo High School, running back and defensive back at Northwestern University. Hop on, Akeem, if you can, if we send you a link. He know all about the Northwestern program. Played there at a high level. And I'm telling you, if that kid can ball, he needs to be taken into consideration. Because the 1, 2, and third most important thing right now is you got to either get the defense straight or you got to get some protection for Justin. We got some decent weapons. Our weapons are solid right now. But I don't care who. Tom Brady can be behind that offensive line last year and he wouldn't do nothing.
I'm going to call BS on that.
Yeah, I think Saransky will be there tonight. I feel because there's too many people who don't think he's.
No, I'm not calling BS on Akeem. I'm calling BS on JB, saying Brady would not be good behind our line. I think the whole point of Brady is that he elevates offensive line.
Hey, Tom Brady would sign his death warrant behind our offense.
How did Patrick Mahomes fare in the Super Bowl against Tom Brady with 3 offensive line starters out?
I call bullshit on you on that one, Easy. There is no way Tom Brady can do it. Tom Brady always took pay cuts, so they put good offensive linemen for him. There's no way he would have been successful.
It was also really it was also Dante Scarnecchia, one of the best offensive line coaches of all time, like elevating them. But also, no, like when you bring up the Mahomes game, that game, Mahomes was trying to play hero ball, and it worked a lot for him, right? You remember he was running for his life, man. And
that's
I know
hero ball, Easy. That means hike. They're here. I got to do something. The man is literally levitating sideways.
You had to do instincts.
And still hitting people in the chest and they dropping it. No, I'm gonna tell you to stand down on this one because without offensive line play, the best quarterbacks look average. You have to have an offensive line. You have to.
I agree. I still think that our offensive line last year was adequate enough.
I know, Brandon. I can't even see JB and Foulmouth's face, dude.
When I started online, I covered.
It's fine with me.
No, I'm just saying. Look, the question was, would Tom Brady do well with our offensive line last year? I don't think last year Tom Brady would have, but like prime Tom Brady, yeah, I think he would have. I think he would have figured it out. I think
last year Tom Brady passed for 5,000 yards, man.
Last year Tom Brady, I mean, yeah, but they lost a bunch of games, and like
still passed for 5,000 yards.
They couldn't run the ball.
That was their issue. They couldn't run.
Listen to your big brother, Easy. What I'm telling you is this. Throughout the history of the game, if you've had a passing offense, we can go back to Air Coryell. We can go back to the red gun from Atlanta. We can go back to the run and shoot from the Houston Oilers. If you do not have an offensive line, you're not going to succeed.
I think what you're thinking is that I'm saying, look, what we're doing is I think you are. No, I am. I'm giving the Bears offensive line more credit than y'all are because I remember how good they were at running the ball and their pass protection wasn't great, but like I still think, the offensive line wasn't the biggest problem with the Bears last season. I still believe that. I don't think it was. Look, I don't think it was good. I think it was like below average, but I don't think. I still think like there are quarterbacks who could make it work with below average.
What makes you give them credit?
Terrible, but you can make it work with like
What makes you give them credit?
What'd you say?
What makes you give
there is only one credit on that offensive line that I will give, and that is Braxton Jones playing all the 17 games. That's the only credit I can give on that offense.
Kevin
Jenkins missed 4 more games this year. We can't have that.
I'm saying like there were some
when he's healthy, he's a beast, hands down.
I'm saying there were some bright spots in that offensive line. That's all I'm saying.
This is where I tell you all you have to pump your brakes. Yes, the Bears.
JB, you can't say you all because this is just
I'm sorry.
easy. This is just easy.
Not just here because we're talking to the masses that may feel the same way. You look at the Bears' rushing game. You look at their run blocking. If you look at something as weak as Pro Football Focus, then yes, they're going to be graded high as hell. But you also had a quarterback that ran for damn near 1,200 yards with 7.6 yards a carry. I think it was 7.4, whatever it was. That elevates your ranking of your running game.
And JB, I'm gonna follow up on what you just said right there. The bottom 5 offensive lines in the NFL this year, 4 out of those 5 had a top 10 running game. You need a passing game more than a running game when you're talking about an offensive line. That is how this generation of NFL players are now. Would you love to have both?
My answer was like, look, my answer was about Brady specifically. But
prime time Brady could not be prime time Brady with this offensive line.
I disagree.
Unless you had Belichick as your coach too.
Justin made plays because he could escape the lack of having.
Brady was always at his best when he was handing it off anyway and like throwing it to running backs.
Even if he was though, like I said, you got to sit up there. You got to think about you talking about a guy that I'm a Michigan man. Brady is not a mobile guy.
I know.
He is not.
But
you got to look at your line. You talking about, all right, even if he's going to get pressure from the outside, even when he steps up, fucking Mustafa's getting pushed back to him any goddamn way. Where is he going to go? That's one thing.
Like a fucking tackling.
The wide receivers weren't the best.
Tom Brady's getting Mustafa cut off.
No, but how the hell did this become a Tom Brady show?
I know.
Shit.
It was an interesting topic.
You know what? Let's take a pause for the cause. Let's get a commercial, man. Let's pay some bills.
I like that. Pay them bills. What we gonna hit first? I didn't even have that.
There was a time when high standards prevailed, when excellent craftsmanship was displayed and treated with the utmost importance. Acquire the crisp, refreshing taste of Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
Moore's Beer, raise your standards.
Still no Moore's Beer in the suburbs.
6, I believe 5 or 6 delicious flavors, and made right here in Chicago.
Moore's Beer.
Raise your standards. So back to what you were saying. Again, can you all put what Skylar could just put up?
This one right here, because I agree with him.
No.
This one?
We need good pass protection O-lines.
Yeah.
If you want to bring us into the 21st century. Again, and let me be clear, because it's easy to fall back on low-hanging fruit and say, well, the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer, blah, 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 blah. The Bears have never had a quarterback to throw for 30 touchdowns, blah, 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 blah. Hey, there's a Hall of Fame quarterback arguably listed as one of the best, who's only thrown 30 touchdowns once in his career and has never had a 4,000-yard season. That's Joe Montana. If Justin Fields turns into Joe Montana, I'll take that right now.
Happy?
Okay.
Sign me up today.
That's
only the stat man JB would know that, because I didn't.
I wouldn't call that a hot take.
Once. That's insane.
Yeah, I'm with you. Like, yeah,
not once. Look it up. And
that's insane. It is a different generation, but that's insane for somebody with that name.
And the originator and creator of the West Coast offense was his coach.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, you spit.
So are we clearly on board in saying that we need to draft an offensive lineman at 9? After this freaking argument that we just had, can
I give you something to Foul's point though? When you said Foul, you said something that got my wheels turning, bro. When you said quarterbacks can go anywhere from 5 to 2, that got me to thinking like, dang. If there's a lot, because there's still a ton of teams that need a quarterback, or at least need a quarterback moving into next season.
Yes, a future quarterback.
If those people are chomping at the bit to jump up and trade out,
champing.
Hell, if a Will Anderson drops to 9, I got to change my whole. I got to have that. I got to have him. I got to take it. Only because I think I still might be able to get a lineman later on. Because I don't think all of the linemen that we all named that we're interested in will all be going in the first round. It's
such an offense. Like, I feel like there are a lot of good offensive tackles in this draft. You know, we've pretty much covered most of them. And that's why I'm saying, you know, I still think defense, you know, we could not get after the quarterback late last year.
I agree with Noah right there.
I'm with Noah too. That's my guy right there.
I don't want Wright from OSU because I want to stay on the outsides. And also, and I'm just throwing this out there, food for thought. Yes, Brandon, 4 possibly, and I'm hearing 5 now.
There's still a 5th. There's still a 5th that could be available at 9, and that's why I'm not against trading back.
I'm hearing that people are saying they're willing to sit Hendon Hooker and let him rehab because they feel that he's NFL ready.
But yeah, you also don't know who's going to trade up
all month.
Like, you could see 5 in the first 6 picks for all we freaking know if people are going to trade up to get a quarterback.
We're talking about Hendon Hooker, but this is a guy that potentially could have been a Heisman Trophy winner if he never hurt his knee.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, he was elevating up draft boards when he was playing before he got hurt. So, I mean, yeah, there's a good chance that there may be a run on quarterbacks, but that's what makes this draft so enticing and so unpredictable, because you really don't know. Like, this is a very unpredictable fucking draft because there's not like that clear-cut number 1. It's not like, okay, if you were to look into next year, you sit up there, you got May from North Carolina, and you got Caleb Williams from USC, where guys are talking about they can go 1 or 2, where, you know, those guys are they talking about like generational type quarterbacks, franchise changes, opposed to these guys as far as with Bryce Young, you're talking about his height and his his throwing power. You talking about a guy like C.J. Stroud, where they feel like he's another OSU quarterback. He's not going to be
Product of the system.
for instance, product of the system. Yeah, like they've been trying to talk about Justin Fields, even though his passing was outstanding, but people didn't even know that he was that fucking athletic until last year.
Right?
We didn't really
Because he didn't have to do that. I always knew he had speed, but talking about athleticism, like, oh my God. Man.
And so you're talking about the OSU quarterbacks that sit up there and took advantage of having 5-star fucking wide receivers like they do now. When you got Marvin Harrison, you had Jackson Smith and Jigba, you had they got another damn guy over there right now. They only picked up a couple more 5-star wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's going to be interesting with this draft. We're going to probably keep going for another 15 minutes because we're going to have a big day come Thursday. Please join us. Please join the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. We're going to be having our boy Easy with us. We're going to sit up here and do our draft special.
We're going to hijack his
live while the draft is
really, it's y'all are with me.
We're hijacking Easy's broadcast.
Thursdays are Easy days.
So please join us Thursday. We will be live as the draft is going on. You will hear our inputs, some of our moans and groans about what's going on and what teams are doing, and especially what the Bears are going to do with that number 9 pick.
I agree with you, Brandon. I'm not sure if JB.
Who is he talking about? Is he talking about Nolan Smith or is he talking about Broderick Jones?
I think he's talking Broderick.
I was thinking Broderick. I don't know if Broderick. I mean, Broderick might be there at 9, but I don't know if we move back to 11 or 12, he's going to be there.
There's a possibility. I mean,
there is. There's so many freaking possibilities.
But here's the thing: if Broderick Jones is available, do you want, not to say anything wrong with the kid, but do you want him over a DeJuan Jones or
I think Broderick's more NFL ready than DeJuan Jones is, but DeJuan Jones, I feel like, will have a higher ceiling. That guy can be a beast.
I mean, what's so crazy, I was listening to, I think, 670 to score today.
Yeah, Broderick has those quick feet, from what I'm hearing. He has extremely quick feet for a tackle.
They were talking about Jones, and they were talking about his height. But fucking, what's the guy that they said that we wanted? The guy that everybody was talking about getting from Kansas City, Orlando Brown Jr. They're about the same height.
He's 6'5", 6'6".
Nah, well, they think that he's 6'8". I don't know how.
I think he's like 6'7", 6'8". Yeah.
I thought he was only like 6'5", 6'6". I didn't think Orlando.
I thought his dad was taller.
I don't know. Personally, I don't give a damn.
His dad was like 6'7".
But they were talking about him, and they were talking about one of the reasons why polls didn't really go for him was because of his 6'8". So now they were talking about when it comes down to DeJuan Jones, that he's not possibly a scheme fit. That's one reason why they don't think the Bears would draft him, because he's not a scheme fit.
So they were also thinking Orlando Brown was a locker room problem too. Like, he can be a selfish piece of shit.
Orlando Brown is 6'8", 363. That's what he's listed at. I feel like it does seem to me like Pace is leaning towards going for a more lean, agile offensive lineman, which I guess does make sense in this NFL.
Brandon, don't say that shit, man.
We're not banging our heads into the wall.
No.
We are running, like, why bang your head into the wall when it's 4 steps to go around it?
All right, so I'm gonna paint a picture here. I want everyone to answer this for what Brandon just said. Weatherspoon is there at 9. I say no, because I think the least things that we need to worry about right now is a secondary type player. As much as I think, I hear he's a phenomenal nickel too, which is kind of pisses me off even more, because that's even a possibility of even better. Because if you're going to give me a Jalen Johnson, a Weatherspoon, and a Kyler Gordon, god damn,
that's hard. And I'm guaranteed to get like a DeJuan Jones or a Darnell Wright in the second round.
You'll get pretty tired running around without anyone getting pressure on the quarterback. That's for sure.
Very true. You're still not going to get pressure on the quarterback, and I still think that's the number one thing that you need.
Unless he's like a good address or something.
On the defensive side to address.
Hell, if we get Jalen Carter, we're not going to get no pressure on the quarterback. Like, what are we talking about? We're talking about a kid that don't get sacks.
Well, Jalen Carter is a plugger where sometimes can get single or get double teamed, which will leave one-on-one coverage. But yeah, you're right. That's still not guaranteed you're getting pressures. But at the same time, 3 out of the 4 people on this panel right now don't want Jalen Carter. So I mean,
even 3 sacks last year, 3 sacks the year before.
Even if you're talking about the kid getting double teamed, right? I mean, the thing is, if he comes to the Bears now, he's going to get fucking double teamed. So you're not going to really look for no fucking production from him because they don't have no ends. They barely got a guy to play right next to him.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they're going to get him anyway. I think it's a pipe. I think it's a hypothetical. Like I can't see him falling past.
I mean, honestly, I'm a little worried because I think if the son bitch is there at number 9, they're going to take him.
I'm scared of that too, which is why I don't want him there at fucking 9. Right. But like this is the thing with Jalen Carter that I'm going to say, like, is I don't see game wrecker in him like everyone else sees. Like I don't understand. I don't see it, especially against NFL caliber teams. He can be a game record versus freaking Fresno State or some shit like that all he wants. I mean, he doesn't do that stuff in the championship games. Like those are the key things. But the other thing I'm looking at with Jalen Carter is he did get double teamed a lot. I will say that 100%. We'll say that. But it comes down to the effort that you are putting in when you get double teamed. His ass is on the ground 75% of the time when he's getting double teamed. He doesn't put an effort in to try to get past it. And the key thing is on 3rd downs, he is too tired to be on the damn field.
Hey, Frank. Let me just simplify this for you because you're about to make yourself pissed off. I see Levain popping out.
There, it's coming. And my whiskey's tastes
when
good.
You have a person that shows up overweight, out of shape, and throws up at their pro day.
Yep.
That tells you how much football means to that person right now. Not to say that it can't evolve later on, but right now that shows you what football means to him.
And this is the one. Oh, go ahead. Finish up. Yeah, go ahead. Finish up. Sorry.
There's one more very telling situation here. When you have a guy that's supposed to be the number 1 at one time overall.
He was.
In the national championship game. Can't even stay on the field. To me, that is the top competition. That's your NFL right there.
It's called work ethic. I never saw it in him.
And what does Matt Eberflus preach?
Work ethic.
It's called hits, right?
Yep.
Chris, we just talked about scheme, about how DeJuan Jones don't fit the scheme. You telling me this lazy, out of shape, fast car, fast women, fast food loving dude fits a scheme where you got to be in shape, move to the ball, and be present? I don't want to hear nothing about scheme if we draft Jalen Carter. Nothing.
I if we do draft him and I am wrong, I will come on live and say, hey, kudos. But look, I have not
high risk, high reward. You don't know what you're going to get with
it. Ain't no high risk, no reward for this guy. Because again, high risk, high reward would have proven that you did something. Thal told you all 3 weeks ago when he was just a player on the team. And what was it? 6 of that teammates, 6 of the people on that teammate from the front line to the defensive backfield got drafted. 6, I think it was.
I absolutely agree.
Last year he was supposed to be the man, and he wasn't. Same production. All the talent around you, 3 sacks. No talent around you, 3 sacks. He is what he is. I hope he does turn the corner, get his life together, becomes great. Generational wealth, changes.
Not with the Lions, but fair.
Hope he does. But you know what? I'm a Bears fan, and I care about the Bears and what's best for the Bears. And right now, as of today, April 20, what is it? The 25th, 2023, Jalen Carter is not what's good for the Bears. I don't want him.
So tell me this, you guys sitting at 9. Are you taking best player available?
No, because that could be Bijan Robinson.
That's Bijan Robinson.
We didn't even talk. We couldn't get through this damn show without talking about that.
That's exactly why I brought that up.
You know it.
We need to talk about it. Look, JB, look, you've convinced me on Jalen Carter, right? Like, I see your point. I get it. I will say Brandon's comment, spot on. Like, it is about.
What was his comment? I didn't see it. Pull it up.
Oh, he just said, I don't see. Oh, I got it, Frank.
Uh-oh.
Frank, I got it.
Do it that time.
That's the
All
fucking
right.
whiskey.
It says, I don't see, like 4-3 is the engine, 3 technique is the ignition, right?
Right.
It's about rotating, keeping people fresh, right? And I like that. That's what worked for the Eagles to get to the Super Bowl this year. It's like,
You're right.
like we don't need like a premier pass rusher. We need a lot of guys who are plus pass rushers, and we have not had that. And that's why look. Don't get me wrong. I love a premier pass rusher, but like,
I think Grogu agrees.
oh well, I'm glad. But no,
Not with Jalen Carter,
You're right about Jalen Carter. Y'all have kind of swayed me on Jalen Carter. I'll give you that. And I'm pretty steadfast a lot of the time. But that's like I like your perspectives on that. He didn't have a bunch. He just like anybody throws up at the pro day. Like, come on, that's ridiculous. But
that's your interview. Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Although, I want to bring up what Foulmouth said. And look, I don't want the Bears to do this, but we have to address that I've read rumors of interest in Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas.
It's not a rumor. It's gaining a lot of traction, actually. I've been reading different pundits. It's gaining a lot of traction, and I'm concerned.
Well, this is my thing. This is what I
really
think.
Good.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind getting him if it's in a situation where we trade back, because I think he's going to go past 9. I think he's going to probably fall between that 10 to 15 range. Now, if the Bears are willing to trade back and get an extra pick, like let's say an early second, or something like that, then yeah, I wouldn't mind getting him right there and then putting all focus our attention, even if that means that we have to sit up there and package something to get back into the first round to grab an offensive lineman. Then I wouldn't sit up there and mind it at all. But as far as just
fool ass bitch made punk.
I agree with that, Foulmouth. I think might as well get a elite running back. Right?
Straight up, nah, I'm not with that.
Hey, but Foul, I have to bring this up, bro, because if you remember that draft class where we drafted Cedric Benson 4, we were in a similar situation.
This is the thing. When you're talking about Bijan Robinson, he put up identical numbers to Cedric Benson in Texas. Identical.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Well, except Cedric had more wear and
tear. I'm not saying Bijan is a bust. I'm not saying.
No. Nobody's calling him a bust. But my point is this: we're the team at 4 who had Thomas Jones and we took Cedric Benson, but the Bears are known for linebackers and we don't draft Sean Merriman. Or
DeMarcus Ware.
DeMarcus Ware was a damn good defensive end.
Yeah.
I believe
there was a corner too.
Pac-Man Jones was in that draft.
Pac-Man, right? Which was fine. We got Devin Hester the next year, right? But
I'm just talking about at that time. Pac-Man was good.
Yeah, Justin Tuck, like a lot of really good players in that. Look, Tuck obviously was like a late round guy, but there were a lot of really good
first round picks.
I think we
literally could have gotten Sean Merriman from there.
Look, Foulmouth is talking about picking him at like 14, not 4. Also, we're talking about picking him when Justin Fields is our quarterback, not Rex Grossman. All right, like there is.
What would Sean Marion, Lance Briggs, and Brian Urlacher look like?
Okay. Hey, check this out. We're gonna go to another commercial real quick. Go ahead, hit it, Frank.
Before we get into the next set.
Hey, get you in the zone gear, baby. Get it. Frank's got it on. We got the leggings for the ladies. Hey, I ain't saying nothing about seeing no ladies in no leggings. I got in trouble last week for that shit.
I remember that, man.
That is not coming out my mouth at all. Get the leggings, ladies.
We got some nice hoodies. And I'm going to throw this out there because we did have one upset person from how long that it took to get her product in. but people understand End the Zone makes this from scratch. They don't have this stuff just sitting, already made or anything like that. It makes it from scratch. So it takes a little bit of while for them to actually get it up and running. If it starts taking off and we start selling tons of this like we were hoping, they might start making them ahead of time. But as of right now, it takes a little bit of time. I think it took like 2 to 3 weeks before it arrived.
Because I saw a commercial.
That's who the one I'm talking about is Brooke. She loves it. She loves the leggings.
It was a great commercial.
She actually bought a hoodie as well. Mm-hmm. That the hoodie they said will take up to like 15 to 20 days for it to arrive. But that's because they are making it from scratch.
Look, quality.
Oh, it is phenomenal quality. I will say that right now. This stuff is extremely comfortable.
But back to what we were saying, Easy. I hate to disagree with you again, brother, on live TV.
Yeah, all good, man. I'm all about disagreements.
At Cedric,
what it is. It's the debate, baby.
And that was like running back central that year was all. But give me Pac-Man Jones or Sean Marion before Cedric Benson. You got to give me that.
Well, I completely agree. Remember though, one of the big problems with Cedric Benson was the work ethic. Like that was his issue. Like he didn't want to. He didn't show up to training camp. He held out for.
He held out.
All right, so we got another one on here, and I'm gonna give him a shout out regardless because I don't think we've had him on here before. Michael, happy to have you on, man.
Right, Michael.
As much as I think everybody on this panel agrees with you that he is the best available at 9, you are not drafting a running back in the top 10, in my opinion. I don't care how good he is,
Michael,
unless you are a running back away from being a Super Bowl contender, which we are not.
Right.
So that's why there is no possible way that I would take Bijan Robinson at 9.
Let me add something to that, Frank, for what Michael is saying as far as best available player. We're not knocking Bijan at all.
Oh, absolutely. We're not knocking. No. We think he is the best available at 9.
We really do think the kid can play, but he's not what we need.
Exactly.
Because regardless, if we have a Bijan Robinson,
kudos to Dion. All the talk that we've been talking about Cedric,
always
hands down, rest in peace in that one. Horrible what happened.
He's a bear. Period.
Absolutely. I don't care what anyone says. He is a bear.
But it doesn't matter if we have Bijan Robinson. If we can't protect Justin to start getting that ball down the field, we're going to be singing the same song with the next GM and coaching staff and the GM and coaching staff after that. It's going to be the same perpetual circle.
Right.
Never have I said one time that we shouldn't focus on what's best for Justin. You never heard me say that. You never heard anybody on this panel say that.
And that's why exactly I said if we're to draft him, it'll have to be something later on, and it had to be a situation where the Bears are able to come back in the draft and get an offensive lineman or something like that. Yes. Not drafting him at number 9. No, that is not an option at all.
And I'm saying, Michael, from what you're saying on there, when we're saying best available, at least in my opinion, I'm saying best available at offensive tackle, offensive line, or defensive line. That is my best available at those positions that I'm taking at 9.
Yeah, because
running back is least of my worries. I don't care if he's the next Saquon Barkley.
Quid pro quo. The best available person can also be, at that time, can be one of those defensive backs that are supposed to be game-changing too.
Yeah.
It could be a Witherspoon, a Clark, or a Jordan Jr.
Yeah, hands down. And we don't need one of those either.
Damn sure ain't going for that either.
It hurt.
Not over a lineman or a D lineman, absolutely not.
So one thing that we all have agreed on is that whatever the Bears do at number 9, or if they trade back, it has to be someone in the trenches. Whether it's in the defensive line or the offensive line, that's what they need to do. And whichever one they go with first, whether it be offensive line in that second round, they need to aim for a defensive player and vice versa.
I think they should draft a punter.
Why not? Fuck it.
Man.
Hey, if the kicker can kick 100 yards through the uprights, take his ass to number 9.
Hey, you talking about Sebastian Janikowski?
It's a bargain up in that bitch.
Bring back Robbie Gould.
That's a very good thing right there. Like, what the fuck
All
right, pardon my language on that one. Robbie Gould straight up came out and said, if the Bears called, I am there. Why is anybody even thinking about that? I literally had so many people message me saying, like, why would you take him? He's too old. I don't give a rat's ass how old he is, man. That guy is still kicking field goals within the tops of any team in the NFL inside the 50-yard line.
Hey, look here. Famously, kickers play into their 40s, right? Well,
because they don't take hits.
Look, like it's just one of those things where at a certain point, his longest distance, it probably will start to fade. Like it happened with Vinatieri and like it happened with...
Never really had big distance, though. Like, I mean, that's the thing.
I'm not looking at distance. I'm looking at accuracy because if we can't get touchdowns, we damn sure better get them 3 points.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I know. But, like, remember, look, they are still paying Santos a decent amount of money, and his problem was extra points, not field goals.
Yeah, but that's a big problem.
It's a big problem.
Big problem.
That's a big problem.
Real quick, everybody go around.
I take Robbie.
Okay, we don't have to go around. Robbie, give us Robbie.
I'd rather have Robbie. Yeah, but like I said, it is mainly like an emotional response for me. Like, you know, I don't know how much he still got it, but I love Robbie Gould, so you know.
I put it to you like this. I must rather have a guy that got accuracy and that can kick the fucking field goals and get a guy that can kick the shit long as hell, but you worried as fucked about his accuracy.
Yep. All right,
That's
so
fair.
I had
been good on field goals past 2 seasons.
I had to look this up. 88% inside the 50-yard line is Robbie Gould in his career.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
88%. That's freaking insane. And that was with kicking in freezing cold bear weather for the first half of his career.
He knows how to
kick. He's never been a great kicker beyond
stuff.
50 yards because he just doesn't have the leg.
I bet you won't fucking double doink.
You're the one who brought it up this time, Foul.
Hey, look here. If Robbie Gould wants to come back and build this thing, how old is just give me? I don't know. How old is Robbie Gould? 35, 36, somewhere around there.
I'm on here right now checking his things. He is 36.
Yeah. I think I've seen Al Del Greco and company kick well into their 40s. We've seen the guy from the Saints kick well.
That Raider guy, Jankowski, was still kicking 60-yarders until he was like 50.
I'm not worried.
That fat uncle-looking guy, dude.
I'm not worried about that. I'm concerned about getting the points on the board. We talked about easy. You just made it clear. You said his problem wasn't kicking field goals. It was kicking extra points. But certain extra points are the same length as chip shot field goals.
And Dion, I'm going to say this right now. Robbie Gould will not take a lot of money to come back to Chicago. We'll guarantee that.
He left for like 9, right?
To come to Chicago.
Like 9.
He's a Bears fan and is like as a like on the side. Like, yeah,
he literally still has his home out here that he still lives in during the off season. So he won't even have to buy property out here.
Hey, Rob,
like, you know, he loves the Bears. Like, if he's not playing against the Bears, you know, he's rooting for the Bears. Like, I'm pretty sure he was somewhat ironically at the 2018 divisional playoff game. You know, when Parkey missed that kick. Sorry to trigger everyone, but
it's okay. Foul brought it up first, so it was okay.
Yeah, he double dutched you in. It's okay. He jumped in.
But the only other kicker there I'd want out there is my boy Paul Ettinger, wherever he is right now.
I would love to have
Paul back. Love to have you back, man.
MSU.
I just want to see that style.
Can you go back to that, Frank? Because that just was telling to me what Mr. Dighton just said. Because I take the other side of it. Like, offensive line is actually what I'm not concerned about getting in the draft. None of those players came in there because they're all high caliber, high quality.
Mm-hmm.
What scares me is the lack of defensive tackle, because after Jalen Carter, we're talking about like Brian
100%.
Reed,
and lack of defensive tackles in free agency, too.
Yeah, that's when you get some guys that they can play, but are they going to be game changers? The guys I named, like the kid from Baylor who I love, Psyche Ika, is like, I watched that game just being a bum on Saturdays watching the football game. I'm like, dude, this dude keep getting to the TCU quarterback. Who is he? Could have just been the greatest day he had in his life. I don't know. But at the same time, that scares me more than a proven guy like a Skoronski. a proven guy like a Paris Johnson, a proven guy. Like it or not, Broderick Jones, hey, that team in Georgia went to back-to-back national championships, and they beat Alabama twice. It's something to be said about that. We love DeJuan Jones because I think DeJuan Jones is a mix of Larry Allen and Orlando Pace. That's what I think.
I mean,
and I know going back to kicking here, like Michael, just to give you a heads up, Cairo Santos missed 7 extra points last year.
7?
2 out of those 7 lost us the game.
Well, thank you, Cairo, because that got us DJ Moore.
Don't get me wrong on that one. I mean, absolutely.
But
we weren't thinking him at that time.
If there's one player on any team that you can ask to fuck up a little bit, wouldn't it be a kicker who's already under contract, who knows he's getting paid for a few years? And just look, I'm talking conspiracy now.
Yeah, I know. I don't think a kicker would ever miss field goals unless
it's
like that dog movie Bingo where somebody kidnapped his kid and made him miss all the kicks. Yeah, I brought up Bingo.
Yeah,
that one went right over my head.
He was a Green Bay Packer player too. Goddamn, glad he was.
You know what, fellas? It's about time we get to some shout outs.
That was his name
because we're going to have more and more things to talk about this Thursday. Once again, for everybody out there, this Thursday, the Chicago Clubhouse podcast will be going live from the draft. Well, not from the draft, but we'll be going live during the draft. So we want to
be motherfucker.
This motherfucker here. Come check us out. Come join us. Ask your questions. Give us your thoughts. And we all can celebrate and see what it is that the Bears do at number 9 or what they don't do at number 9. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to some shout-outs. Easy. You the first person up. Go ahead, kick it, kid.
Well, shout out to all you guys. You know, great talk, great banter. Always love having a good debate. Good sports debate. It's one of the things I live for. I'm not even exaggerating. It's just something I very much enjoy. Shout out to my parents.
Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Say what one more goddamn time.
That was not me.
That might have been me by accident.
That was not me.
I'm gonna say that fucking whiskey is kicking in like
my hands were up right there. That was not me.
I don't think I did it either, honestly.
Unless Terrence snuck in up out here.
My mouse is a little funky, but yeah, no, always enjoy a great sports debate. You know, it's one of those things that like when I say like I live for good sports talk, I mean that. Like I it's one of my favorite things to do is talk sports. So always great to be able to chop it up with you guys. Shout out to T-Nick. It is his channel first and foremost. We're all with you, man. I also want to give a shout out to, and this name might not ring a bell to many, but Beth Murphy, who was the owner of Murphy's Bleachers in Wrigleyville, right across the street from Wrigley Field. She just passed away today, 68 years old after a long battle with cancer. I'm going to give it a brief monologue. So Dodger Stadium, right? I went to all 3 Cubs-Dodgers games, is a very overrated stadium because it's a ballpark in its own little city surrounded by nothing but parking lots, right? Like you can't, if you want to get a beer after the game, you have to walk half a mile or spend 2 hours in bumper-to-bumper traffic to get a drink. But Wrigley Field, surrounded by bars, surrounded by all these cool places to go to drink after the Cubs, blow a game or win a game, depending. Murphy's Bleachers was held in such high esteem. And, it's really cool that they had a cool place to buy a drink, watch a ball game and whatnot. Regardless if, Cubs or Sox, obviously, that's a great place to just hang out. But also one thing that she did that was really cool is she was the one who fought against the Cubs when the Cubs were trying to build scoreboards that would block the rooftop views. She was one of the ones that was like, no, these rooftops are unique. They, get people to watch the games and you can't do this. And that's part of why the scoreboards aren't up there, obstructing the views from the rooftop seats. That are some of the things that make Wrigley Field so famous. So shout out to Beth Murphy, big part of Chicago Cubs culture, Chicago sports culture. Rest in peace, thoughts and prayers with her family. And lastly, shout out to the Cubs in general, because, off to a hot start this year, looking good. And hopefully the Sox could get it together too.
She's a true pioneer, huh? Easy.
Dumb shits.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, true pioneer, absolutely.
All right, Frank, you
All
up?
right. All right. First shout out I'm gonna give, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong with you guys. Hey, Michael, is he new? It's the first time I've seen his
That's
name.
time I've heard him, but he was on fire.
Hey,
Shoot.
you were on fire, dude. Hands down.
Michael Dighton. Are we saying
Love
that
the
name
fact
right,
that
Michael?
love the
Michael
fact that
Dighton?
you tuned in, man. Keep tuning in. From what I'm hearing from you on this, it seems like you love talking or hearing this podcast as well. So that's what we like to hear. So thank you for coming on. Pretty much the entire chat again was on fire from start to finish. Okay, he says he haven't left you guys. Did you change your name, dude, or am I just losing my shit?
Nah, that's that damn whiskey kicking in. Goddamn.
It could be, dude. This FEW Chicago distilled whiskey, man. I'm gonna give him a call and get them to sponsor us too, man. That's some
No,
good
he's
shit.
saying he hasn't left yet. Like he's still on currently.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying like you haven't left in general, like you've always been watching.
No. We're just trying to make sure, Michael, that we say your name right. Michael Dighton.
It could be. But other than that, hey, chat, Brandon, start to finish. No, I haven't changed my name. Damn it, Michael, you keep distracting me, dude. I'm gonna be starting to play the violin now. But Michael, Brandon, from start to finish was on fire. Everybody on the chat, Skylarks was chiming in for a while.
Came back tonight, yeah.
Yep, Dion, like from start to finish. Anthony always on start to finish. Noah, thanks for tuning in again, man. I know you're Easy's boy. Happy to have you on. Always got to get a shout out on Easy. I think you need to get on board with this one as well. We always got to give a shout out to JB's mom, who never misses a show.
Oh, absolutely.
From start to finish.
That sounds right.
The podcast mom. Always enjoy having her on. Got to give that shout out to Grogu over there, keeping it real. I think he's been sipping a little bit of that whiskey too, because he hasn't shut the hell up today, man.
I haven't noticed him talking
that dude. He's been on fire today. And I'm going to give one other shout out. Green Bay Packers organization, thanks you for finally pulling the trigger. Get that crybaby piece of shit out of Green Bay so the Bears don't have to deal with him anymore.
Thank you, New York Jets.
Karen Rodgers, bye-bye. Thank you. I can't wait for the parade to be running through the streets of Chicago on Lakeshore Drive just from Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay right now. So Green Bay, I hope you are ready for the dark days of finding a quarterback, because if you go 3 for 3 in fucking quarterbacks in 35 plus years, I am going to lose my mind. Lose my mind. That's all I got.
All right, JB.
Amen to that, Michael.
Amen, Michael. Man, I wanted to yes, Lord. Shout out first and foremost to you guys, because again, if we don't have, like we say to the Bears, if you don't have good teammates, good locker room, good quality people around, it makes things a lot more difficult. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to T Nick in the backgrounds. He will be coming back soon. That's the good news. Hopefully he'll be making his debut. If not this week, then the following week. Everybody, Frank, you hit the chat. Did your due diligence. Let me add 2 more. Shout out to your guy, Jeremy Bowman.
Oh, always Jeremy.
Jeremy's always on fire. Yeah, Jeremy got. Hey, I would love for Jeremy to jump in the show one day, because Jeremy got a lot. He got a little bit of us in him. I can tell.
Absolutely, he's got some fire, man.
Yeah,
we still want him to jump in when we got that Bulls talk. We want him especially to chime in when we got that Bulls talk, because he's one of the few who still support Donovan Dick or whatever the hell.
Hey, he's present and available. So Jeremy, next time you're feeling froggy,
love having my boy on, Jeremy.
We'll send you a link. We did have another one, Alex Solis. I want to shout out to him. Another one that's one of our new ones that I don't recall the name. Not saying that you're new, but maybe the first time commenting. Thank you. We appreciate your support. And then one of our guys, Val, that was Akeem Hunter. Yeah.
Oh, and Easy. I'm gonna add one other one. I forgot to give Easy's mom, dude.
Yeah,
Easy. Your mom tuned in. I think that was that the first time I.
No. She's
been on ours, or she
was on last week.
No, she's on mine. Okay. She's on yours. No, she's on yours too. She'll
awesome.
She usually leaves one comment. Also, lurks a lot for sure, but no, definitely.
No for love, dude. It's not just lurk.
No, we'll take it. And my dad also tuned in. He doesn't really comment, but he'll listen. But yeah, no, my mom, definitely,
absolutely. Because last week I said a shout out to Barb, not knowing Barb Gill was your mom.
There you go.
But my mom's friend name is Barb, and I actually thought that was her. I don't know.
Oh, I do remember you saying that. Yeah, I do remember that.
So
it was
shout out to
whiskey
both
with
Barbs.
water.
Shout out to both Barbs. Appreciate you, love
Shout out
you.
to, you know,
the Barb connection. Here we go.
Have them link arms and they become barbed wire.
Oh, you on a roll.
Yeah,
Zing, zing.
Greg liked it.
But yeah, I can't.
The whiskey liked it.
Yeah, the whiskey.
Can't wait till Thursday. We're gonna keep our special Bears alumni guest under wraps because he's all when we do chat with this particular former player, he's always on fire. He's always got a lot to say. And man, I'm excited for Thursdays, guys. Like
I think everybody.
I don't think I've been
I'm hyped about it, man. It's gonna be great.
All I gotta say is if we tune in and they trade out of the first round, son of a bitch.
Well, it's gonna be a long show.
Son of a bitch.
Some of them, no. But yeah, that's all I've gotten as always. Y'all already said it, but it can never be said enough. Shout out to my moms, my day one, my P1, my everything. Love you, lady. Appreciate you.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right, well, I'm trying to make mine brief. Shout out to you three fellas, Easy, Frank the Tank, JB. Nah, I ain't pulling no T-Nick shit.
I missed that, dude. We haven't
behind
had
the
that
scenes
violence.
out there. Prayers out to him and his family once again.
For sure.
Shout out to the chat. The chat was on fire. We had Brandon that joined us from the Chicago Sports Podcast. He was chiming in. Shout out to Mike.
Look at this follower. Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
Oh, Jeremy, thank you. I appreciate that.
Come on, what a kiss ass.
Hey, look, I'll take
Are you drinking too, Jeremy?
I'm both drinking that whiskey.
Yeah, he got the trivia question right. Like, so that.
What was the question? Easy. I missed
yeah, let's see if y'all know it. JB might know it. Who is after Jonathan Davis played his last game as a Blackhawk? Who is now the longest tenured Chicago athlete? Jeremy, don't spoil it, please.
Oh, yeah, I know that, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
The longest tenured Chicago athlete?
Yes.
But Chicago or Blackhawk athlete?
Chicago.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Blackhawk.
Is it a long snapper?
It's not. It's not.
No, he retired. Remember?
You want a hint?
Yes.
All right. Hint is baseball.
Damn. Tim Anderson?
It is not Tim Anderson. No. Another hint is Northsider.
Well,
I damn sure don't fucking know now.
I don't follow the Cubs.
Really good. Y'all probably don't hate him as much as other Cubs.
Is it the pitcher?
Which pitcher?
The fucking guy. That guy, dude.
Yeah,
I don't remember his name.
It's Kyle Hendricks.
Hendricks, thank you. That's who I was saying. I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, fuck.
That
Shout
would
out
have been
Liam
my
Hendricks
guess.
for fucking beating cancer. Liam Hendricks.
Hands down on that one. Yeah, he
like,
rung the bell a few weeks ago.
He's in remission now. That's
He will
amazing.
be back in a White Sox uniform in a few weeks, he said.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Fucking
everyone roots for that. Like, that's always good when cancer loses. But yeah, no, the answer is Kyle Hendricks. Not a lot of emotion to him, so he's.
What is he like? 8 years in? 7, 8 years in?
He's like 8 or 9 years in now.
I think
Seven
Tim Anderson
really-
is like 6 or 7. That's why I said 10.
7 really good years. Last 2 years, not as great, but like Prime Hendricks was not to be messed with. Like really, really solid pitcher. So
I still remember him in that playoff run, that last game where he was throwing like a one hitter going into the 8th inning. Got a standing ovation.
Lights out, absolutely lights out.
Oh, we got Foul pulling out the violin. We're still on Foul's turn, so he's the one playing the violin.
I just wanted to shout out to the chat. Shout out to JB's mom who loves my boy Grogu here. Yeah.
Oh, mom wants to know, Foul, how can she get Grogu?
I'm gonna have Grogu mate with another one of them, and I'm going to head up. He down. You see,
you get that baby Grogu's.
He down.
Don't make sure he don't fall asleep. Otherwise, them babies ain't gonna be popping.
Ooh, this show went off the rails, boy.
Yeah. So once again, shout out to the kiddies. They should be asleep, but I hear they fucking TV, so they already know they up. Shit, it's almost close to the end of the year. I don't give a fuck. What else? man, shit. Is there anything else to fucking shout out?
Yes.
We ain't
Hey,
shouting out to
shout
no
out to our
hoes.
sponsors. In the zone. Shout out to Moore's Beer. Shout out to Hugh. Shout out to
Under Armour.
Under Armour. Yeah, I forgot. I almost forgot about Under Armour. Shout out to them as well. And shout out to Easy's dog in the back that looks fucking scary as shit.
He about to pounce on Easy right
I
now.
know.
Start making a bunch of baby Grogus.
Right.
Disgusting.
Exactly. So, shit, that's about it. For Easy, Frank the Tape, JB, Foul Mouth C. Hey.
We got to answer Jeremy's question. What time Thursday?
Shit. What fuck?
Right when the draft starts, I think,
7
aren't we?
Central Standard Time.
Yep.
Yeah, 7 Central Standard Time.
And don't forget to like
and subscribe to the
Chicago
Clubhouse Podcast. Don't
you got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
We haven't played that in a long
He's
time.
on vacation now because unfortunately the Mandalorian is over. But you always can check out the last season on the Disney Plus.
Oh, we're gonna get them going now too. Disney.
Oh, yeah, we get Disney ass too.
Hey,
Come on,
pay the bills, boy. Pay the bills.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
Rock.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
Bye, Brazil.
Go.